this is name unknown. Please, if you're going to email in, put your name in. You've said before that you don't much care for dirt sheet writers like Dave Meltzer, especially his so-called expertise in the industry. Do you still believe that? Is it just Meltzer, or is it all Wade
Well,
Keller and everybody else?
no, I don't blame them for reporting the news. I don't blame them for that. I blame them for their opinions. But I don't even blame them for that. I blame them for calling themselves wrestling journalists. They're not journalists. They're opinionists, period. And if you're going to give me your opinion, like I'm doing here, I will tell you this is my opinion. I'm not reporting on anything that I've investigated or anything that I've found out. I just tell you what I know, and it's my opinion. So, and I doubt if anybody goes, well, Dutch says this and that and the other. I doubt if anybody's doing that, but they are listening to hear stories. And Meltzer, I think he wants to be a wrestler, I think, or be involved in the wrestling business because he's not big enough or athletic enough to be a wrestler. Therefore, he wouldn't try it. He might be pretty decent in writing because he is a prolific writer. He does write. And some of his writing is pretty good. But when he starts to say that he's starting to throw his opinion in there as it's fact, and after you write a while, it has to come across as fact because then the opinion and fact blur. And then what is real and what is not real. And he's made a living at that. I'm not going to knock him. He's made a living of this for 40 years. So he found something that he got into, and he used to send out that little news sheet once a week, I guess, the Observer newsletter. And I think you paid $1.50 for it, or now it's more. And now he just does it online, which is much, much better for him. So he can just put his stuff online. Now he's probably written 10 million words or more.
Yeah, 30,000 words a newsletter, apparently.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, he's 10 million, 20 million. But anyway, but he gets his information from somebody inside a territory that he'll call. And I don't know if he gives them any money or not. Maybe some of them he does. And he will call them up and say, what's new? And they start giving him everything they've heard. Because the guys used to call him the actual wrestlers themselves. When they wanted a certain idea out, like they're gonna leave. Like a guy would be leaving a territory and Meltzer asking, well, are you going, say he's leaving Memphis and going to Charlotte. Are you leaving Memphis? He said, well, maybe. Well, maybe goes in there. He's scheduled for Charlotte. And when are you leaving? He said, well, I don't know, soon. Yeah, but you don't get any facts. But is he leaving? I might be going, are you going to take over the book there? Well, I could. It's all maybes and ifs. So, but when he comes out after his opinion gathering, it's that this guy's leaving and he's going to take over. He's going to go into the office in Charlotte and start booking. And you'd expect this about 6 weeks later, but it never comes. By that time, nothing happens. And the guys even left the territory that he gave Meltzer the information from. He's probably been in another territory, not even Charlotte. So he writes a bunch of ifs and maybes and could be's and mights, but very seldom does he really hit the truth.
Is there any of the writers of, let's say, the 90s and 2000s, like there's Bruce Mitchell, Wade Keller, Brian Alvarez, is there any of them that you would trust their opinion of more than anybody else, or do you lump all the newsletter writers into one
No,
group?
it's not. It's not like I doubt what they say. They've been around it enough to read the room, to read the landscape. But again, you got to keep in mind that they're opinionists, and they're writing for their own benefit and their own fans. Hang on one second.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not like, like I said, it's not their opinion so much. I mean, their fact gathering is suspect. Let me say that.
Well,
If they were fact checked on everything they say would have to be considered.
with that being said, do you know of anyone, or did you suspect anyone in particular of being a stooge for one of the dirt sheets who was funneling this information out there?
I think Paul Heyman's one. He did it back in ECW. Because that's what they do. They'll pick a guy. And I think, they call Paul. Paul knows them all because he used to be with them. He used to write articles and send them in and pictures. So he knows them. So it's not like they're calling him up and getting information. It's almost like a friend calling a friend. So if they'll call him, what's going on? And that's why ECW, I think, took off, because he did know how to work the media. Another guy who knew how to work the media was Bruiser Brody. He worked the media. Eddie Gilbert worked the media a lot. So, and I'm not saying that is good or bad, but if nobody knows it, it's going to be good. Because say I call Meltzer. Well, I'm going to let Meltzer know what I want him to know. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth, but I'm going to tell him what I want to tell him. Or Alvarez, if anybody calls me, and any wrestler, if they're going to call anybody, they're going to kind of, if it concerns them, they're going to make it beneficial to their side. Mm-hmm. So that's all he's got. That's all he can write.
There's one other name that comes up, because on the other show, sometimes I'll ask who was the biggest stooge for the dirt sheets. I hear a few similar names, and one of them's always Terry Taylor.
Maybe. He could be. I never knew him to do that, but who knows?